The year was 2198, and Earth was taking its last breath. Cities were empty, oceans were dark, and the sky looked like smoke trapped forever. The only hope left for humanity was ARK-7, the last ship leaving Earth. People called it the final home. Thousands stood behind fences, crying, screaming, begging for a seat, but only 3,000 selected passengers were allowed inside. Soldiers kept pushing the crowd back as the massive silver ship stood on its launch platform, glowing like a sleeping giant. From a distance, the world looked like it was dying. Because it was in the middle of this chaos stood a young technician named Elias Ward. He was not a hero, not a soldier, not a leader. He was just a quiet worker who fixed wires, cleaned panels, and kept the engines running. But on this day, he felt something was wrong, very wrong. Elias watched carefully as four silent guards rolled in a large, black container toward the ship's cargo bay. The container was sealed with metal locks and glowing red lights. On the side, in big white letters, it said, "Classified Level Omega, do not open." Elias had worked on ARK-7 for 2 years. He knew every screw, every panel, every wire. But he had never seen this container before. The strange part, the container was shaking on its own. Only slightly. But enough for him to notice. One guard whispered to the others, "Move fast. It's getting active again." Another replied, "Just get it inside. No delays. No questions." Elias felt a cold chill run through his body as the container disappeared inside the cargo bay. An announcement echoed across the launch zone. ARK-V preparing for departure. Countdown delayed by 4 hours. 4 hours. This had never happened. Passengers became restless. Some cried. Some prayed. Some argued with soldiers. Everyone knew Earth had only hours left before complete collapse. A delay could mean death. Elias walked closer to the ship, trying to understand what was happening. Engineers were running everywhere. Officers were shouting orders. And then, the lights around the ship flickered as if the power grid was struggling. A large screen on the tower flashed bright red for 2 seconds. Warning, do not launch. System compromised, before anyone could react. The message disappeared, and the screen turned normal again. People looked around in fear. What was that? Who sent it? Was it a hack? No one had an answer. Elias stepped inside the ship's maintenance corridor, pretending to check wiring. He moved toward the cargo area, following a strange humming sound. It felt like the metal floor itself was vibrating. He whispered to himself, "This isn't normal. Something is alive in there." When he reached the doors leading to the restricted deck, he found 2 security drones guarding the hallway. Their red eyes followed him like hunting wolves. No one was allowed inside without level 10 access. Elias only had level 2. Slowly, he turned back. But the humming continued in his mind like a heartbeat he couldn't escape. Outside, the final boarding began. Passengers were scanned and rushed inside. Mothers held their children tightly. Old people cried. Some kissed the ground one last time. When Elias boarded the ship, he looked out the window. The earth was shaking. Earthquakes cracked entire continents. Storms swallowed oceans. The final countdown was starting. Inside the ship, officers moved quickly. Secure all decks. Shut all airlocks. No one leave their seat. Elias sat down in the crew section, but he couldn't stop thinking about the container. Its image was stuck in his mind, especially the part where it moved, as if something inside wanted to escape. Finally, the ship's engines roared. The ground trembled violently. Flames burst beneath ARK-V. The passengers screamed as the ship shook like a giant beast waking up. 10, 9, 8. Elias closed his eyes. 5, 4, 3. Suddenly, flickering lights again, and a soft whisper in the speakers. Elias Ward. Do not leave Earth. His eyes flew open. Who said that? He whispered. No one else heard it. 2-1. The engines exploded with fiery power. ARK-VII shot upward into the sky, leaving behind smoke, fire, and the last cries of humanity. As the ship rose higher, Elias turned his head and looked out the window. and in that very moment, the earth behind them exploded into a giant wave of red and blue light. Passengers screamed. Some fainted. But Elias saw something no one else noticed. A second explosion. Coming from inside the ship itself. A small one. Quiet. Hidden. Like a secret waking up. The explosion of Earth still burned in the windows of RK-7, like a dying sun. People were crying, shaking, or staring in shock. But Elias Ward could not move. His eyes stayed locked on the strange second flash. He saw the small explosion from inside the ship. Nobody else seemed to notice it. As the ship entered the upper atmosphere, gravity shifted. Passengers floated for half a second before safety belts pulled them down again. The engines screamed like metal giants tearing the sky apart. But then, the lights flickered again. Just for 1 second. Just long enough for Elias to hear another whisper. Elias Ward. Listen carefully. He froze. The sound didn't come from a person. It didn't come from a speaker. It came from everywhere. And nowhere. He looked around. Everyone else was panicking, praying, vomiting, or crying. No one heard it. No one reacted. The ship stabilized, and an officer shouted, "We are leaving Earth's orbit. Brace for jump." But Elias wasn't listening to him. He felt something else moving. Not outside the ship, but inside its walls. The first signal, 20 minutes after escaping orbit, the ship entered silent space. The crew activated long-range sensors. ARKV was supposed to be alone, completely alone. No satellites were left. No rescue ships. No human radio towers. Nothing. But then the communications officer frowned and said, "Captain, we're picking up a signal." The captain turned sharply. From where? The officer swallowed hard. From inside the ship. Impossible, the captain snapped. Check again. The officer's fingers danced across the controls. His face turned pale. It's real, sir. It's a pulse. Repeating every 10 seconds. A heavy silence filled the command deck. Elias watched from the engineering balcony above them. He wasn't supposed to be there, but after everything he had seen, he didn't care. The officer played the sound, a deep thump. Then silence. 10 seconds later, THUMP. Like a heartbeat, but louder, heavier, too big to belong to any human. Passengers. Hear something. Rumors traveled fast. A woman in Section B said she heard something crawling in the vents. A man in Section C saw shadows moving where lights were broken. A child told her mother she heard someone calling her name. Fear started growing like fire in a dry forest. Security bots moved through corridors, scanning every corner. Officers tried to calm people. But Elias knew they couldn't stop this. Not if the thing inside the black container was awake. The scratches. Elias returned to the maintenance corridor. He needed answers, even if it meant breaking every rule. The restricted area was guarded by 2 drones again, so he waited until a small group of officers passed by, distracting them. Then he slipped behind the maintenance panel on the wall, one he knew well. It led to a narrow crawl space. Tight, dark, cold. He crawled through it with slow breaths. When he reached the end of the tunnel and opened the small hatch, he found himself in the hallway just outside the cargo containment sector. That's when he saw something on the metal wasp marks, long, deep, as if claws had dragged across the steel. Elias touched them. They were fresh. A sudden thump echoed behind him. Elias spun around. Nothing. Another thump. Then the heartbeat signal repeated through the metal floor. Thump. 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 It was getting faster. Whatever was inside the ship was waking up. The captain's lie back in the passenger area. The captain made an announcement. Attention, everyone. A slight technical issue is being resolved. There is no danger. Please remain calm. No one believed him, Elias especially. He walked to the nearest screen and pulled up engineering diagnostics. Something was draining energy from Deck 12, not passengers, not systems, something else. The door behind him slid open, and a crew officer stepped inside. You again. Technician Ward, you're not allowed here. Elias slowly turned. What is on Deck 12? That's classified. I saw the container, Elias whispered, and I know it wasn't normal. The officer's face froze. "How do you know about the container?" Before Elias could answer, the ship suddenly shook. Lights went off for 3 seconds. People screamed. Then every speaker on the ship crackled. And a cold, echoing voice whispered, "Do not be afraid." This time, everyone heard it. Passengers panicked. A woman cried. Someone shouted, "Is that a person?" "A ghost." But the whisper continued, soft and calm. "I am awake." Elias understands the truth. Elias felt the blood leave his face. The heartbeat signal. The scratches. The whispers. The container moving like something alive. And now the voice. Whatever was inside Arc 7 was not human. Was not asleep. And it was communicating. But the strangest thing, it knew Elias's name. He whispered to himself, "This ship didn't just carry humans. It carried something much more important." He felt it now. This wasn't a secret. This was a message, and it was meant only for him. The voice that echoed through Arc 7 left the entire ship frozen in fear. Children hid under seats, parents cried, soldiers gripped their weapons, and officers stared at each other with faces drained of color. But Elias Ward, he felt something different, not fear, not panic, but recognition. The voice felt familiar, as if it had been waiting for him. As the whispers faded, the lights slowly came back. The heartbeat signal stopped for the first time since launch. A heavy silence spread across all 7 decks, thick like smoke. The captain rushed to the control deck and shouted orders. "Shut down all intercom channels. Seal deck 12. No one enters or leaves restricted areas." Crew officers ran in all directions, but the passengers saw the panic in their faces. The lie was broken. Something was inside the ship. And the officers no longer pretended everything was normal. Elias stepped away from the crowd, his mind racing. He needed answers and he knew exactly which deck held the truth. Deck 12. The cargo deck, the place where the black container had been taken. The corridor that should not exist. Elias used maintenance tunnels again. His hands scraped against rough metal as he crawled through the tight spaces he had memorized. During his years working on Arc V, the ship shook with every movement, heartbeat like vibrations that matched the earlier pulse. When he reached the lower engineering hatch, he pushed it open carefully. What he saw made him stop breathing. The corridor had changed. Metal panels were bent outward. Lights flickered as if something had drained their energy. Cold steam filled the hallway like white fog, floating in slow waves across the floor. And on the wall, a single glowing handprint. But it was not human. It was longer, thinner, almost elegant like the hand of a child, but stretched by something unnatural. Elias stepped closer. Touching it, it was warm. A warm handprint on cold metal that meant the being had been here. Minutes ago, the missing container, the door to the cargo room stood half open, bent inward, as if something inside had pushed it with massive pressure. Elias entered slowly. The entire place was a mess. Metal crates thrown aside, wires ripped, drones broken on the floor. But in the center of the room lay the black container, open, empty. The metal locks were torn apart from the inside. Elias felt his knees weaken. Something had escaped. He walked around the open container, studying marks inside it. Thousands of tiny scratches. Not random, not chaotic, organized, patterns, symbols, as if the creature had been writing, leaving a message, learning to communicate. And then he saw it. A small piece of glowing dust on the floor. Like a spark frozen in time. He picked it up carefully. The moment he touched it, a soft pulse flowed up his fingers like warm electricity. Then a whisper, "You are close." Elias dropped the glowing dust and stumbled back, breathing hard. The voice? Again, always speaking to him. Why him? Why only him? The mother and the shadowy scream echoed from the hallway outside. Elias ran back into the corridor. A young mother clutched her daughter tightly, eyes wide in terror. "Something walked past us," she cried. It was glowing like light with a shape. Her daughter pointed shakily down the hallway. "It told me to not be scared. It said it won't hurt us." Elias felt chills crawl up his spine. The creature wasn't attacking anyone, it was moving. Searching. Learning. The first visual contact, the lights flickered again. Then went off completely. Total darkness. Elias heard small gasps, hurried footsteps. The sound of something metal falling. Then a faint glow appeared at the far end of the corridor, a soft golden light. It grew brighter. Taking shape, not like a monster, not like an alien, more like a child, a small human-sized figure floating slightly above the floor. No feet touching the ground. Its body was made of soft golden energy, like a living flame held together by invisible air. Its face was shaped like a child's but smooth, calm, almost gentle. Its eyes glowed white. Passengers screamed. Some ran. Some froze, but the being didn't move toward them. It looked only at Elias. The whisper returned. But this time, the creature's lips moved. I know you. Elias stepped back. How? Who are you? The being tilted its head like a curious child. You helped build my chamber, it said. Before you even knew I was alive. Elias felt his chest tighten. You're Project Phoenix. He whispered. The creature blinked slowly. That is the name humans gave me. But I am not a project. Its voice softened. I am the last memory of Earth. Elias couldn't speak. The creature continued. And now you must help me, Elias Ward. Because humans will fear me. But I did not flee Earth to destroy humanity. The hall lights returned suddenly, blinding bright. When Elias looked again, the being was gone. Only the warm handprint on the wall remained. A message burned into the metal. Help me. For several minutes after the glowing being vanished, Arc V fell into a dangerous silence. Not calm silence, but the kind that comes before a storm. A silence full of fear, heavy breathing, and eyes searching shadows. Passengers started whispering in worried voices. Some whispered prayers. Some whispered warnings. Some whispered anger. A tall man in row 14 shouted, "We have a monster on this ship. The captain is hiding the truth." Others joined him. Another passenger yelled, "We left Earth to be safe. Now this thing is inside with us." Panic spread like wildfire. Security bots tried calming people, but their robotic voices only made the fear worse. Elias Ward stood at the side of the corridor, watching chaos rise. But he was not afraid of the being. He was afraid of the humans. Humans were unpredictable when scared. He knew the real danger was not the golden creature, but the reaction of the passengers. Captain's secret meeting 10 minutes later. Elias was summoned. A door opened near the engineering bay, and a crew officer motioned him inside. 3 officers stood around a round table glowing with holograms. The captain himself waited at the head. Technician Ward, the captain said sharply. You accessed restricted corridors. You entered Deck 12 without permission. You discovered the container, and the creature spoke to you. It wasn't a question. It was a fact. Elias swallowed. Yes, sir. The captain leaned forward, face tense. It knows your name. Why? What is your connection? I don't know, Elias said honestly. But I think it doesn't want to hurt anyone. The officers exchanged angry looks. One snapped. It escaped containment. It's dangerous. Another slammed his hand on the table. It could sabotage the engines. It might kill us all. Elias shook his head. It had the chance. It didn't hurt anyone. It even comforted a child. The captain stared at him quietly, then opened a locked file. A hologram appeared. Scientific reports. DNA models, glowing diagrams. Project Phoenix, he said, was humanity's last experiment. When Earth was dying, scientists tried to create a being that could survive anything. Heat, radiation, darkness, age, everything. Elias listened carefully. The captain continued. It carries inside it the code to regrow forests, oceans, plants, everything Earth lost. Elias whispered. Then, it is the last chance for life. The captain nodded. Yes, but we don't know if it trusts humans. Elias sighed. After what humans did to Earth, would you trust us? The captain didn't answer. Instead, he said, the passengers are terrified. Some want to break into the control deck. A mutiny may start. Elias felt his chest tighten. "And you want me to help control them?" he asked. "No," the captain said quietly. "We want you to find the creature." Elias blinked. "Me? You are the only one it spoke to directly," the captain said. "Maybe it will listen to you." Elias looked down at his hands. They were shaking. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't a soldier. He was just a technician, but deep inside, he knew the captain was right. The creature trusted him. Mutiny begins before Elias could answer. Loud bangs echoed outside the meeting room. Passengers were hitting the doors to the control deck. A man shouted, "Open the door. We need weapons." A woman screamed, "We won't die because of some alien child." Another voice yelled, "Break the ship windows. Force airlock pressure." The captain cursed. "They're going to destroy the ship." Elias ran to the security screens. The hallway outside was full of angry passengers. Fear had turned them into a violent crowd. Some held metal pipes. Some held broken seats as makeshift weapons. Security bots formed a line, but humans were pushing through. "We have to calm them," an officer yelled. But something else happened. First, the lights dimmed. The air became warm. A golden glow seeped through the vents. Passengers stopped shouting. Some fell silent. Some stepped back, and then the warm whisper filled the corridor. "Do not be afraid." The crowd froze. The creature appeared behind them, soft glowing light forming into the same childlike shape. But now, it looked frightened too. It floated slowly, trying not to scare anyone. A small boy stepped forward. Are you going to hurt us?" The creature tilted its glowing head. "No, humans hurt each other. I do not want to be like humans." A few passengers gasped. The captain whispered behind Elias, "It understands us." The creature continued, "I want to live. I want humans to live. But fear makes you dangerous." Then it turned its glowing eyes toward Elias. "Elias Ward, help them understand." The warm light dimmed. The creature floated back into the shadows and vanished again. Leaving fear. Leaving silence. Leaving a message: humans must choose what they want to become, before reaching the new world. The moment the glowing being disappeared again, the entire corridor remained frozen. Not physically, but emotionally. People stood trapped in fear, shock, and confusion. No one dared speak. No one moved. It was as if the creature had pressed a pause button on the human heart. Elias Ward felt the air shift. He could sense the creature was still close. Watching them, the captain broke the silence first. "We need to move everyone to safe zones now." But the passengers didn't listen. They weren't afraid of the captain anymore. They were afraid of the unknown that lived inside the ship with them. A woman stepped forward, her voice trembling. "What is that thing? Where did it come from?" The captain hesitated, but this time, he didn't lie. "It is not a thing," he said quietly. "It is Project Phoenix," people murmured. Some gasped. Some looked confused. Elias stepped beside the captain. "I can explain." All eyes turned to him. For the first time, Elias felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He wasn't a leader. He wasn't brave. But the creature had chosen him, and that meant something. He took a slow breath. The last experiment of Earth in the final years before Earth died, Elias began. Scientists tried everything to save the planet. But nothing worked. He paused as memories replayed in his mind. The dark skies, the poisoned oceans, the silent forests. So they tried something new, he continued. They decided to create life, not animals. Not plants. Not machines, something beyond all of that project. Phoenix was designed to carry inside it the code of Earth's lost life. Forests, rivers, seeds, cells, oxygen patterns, everything needed to rebuild a whole world. Passengers stared in disbelief. A young man whispered, "So, it is like a living library." Elias nodded. "Yes, a living archive. A new beginning." The captain added, "It was supposed to be asleep until we reached the new planet. But the destruction of Earth woke it up early." A mother holding her child whispered, "Then why is it hiding from us?" Elias answered softly, "Because it's scared too." The creature's fears. Elias stepped toward, the glowing handprint still warm on the wall. "Phoenix is not a weapon," he said. "It is not here to kill us. It is here to survive with us." "But then why did it escape the container?" someone asked angrily. Elias closed his eyes. "Because humans locked it up. Because we treated it like a tool. Because we didn't trust it." Then he added, "And we humans destroy what we fear." The passengers lowered their heads. Some cried. Some whispered apologies to no one. It was the first moment on the ship when humans felt shame instead of fear. A hidden room and a hidden truth, and officer suddenly pointed at the hologram map. Energy levels dropping on Deck 9. The captain frowned. "That's the biological storage lab." Elias knew exactly what that meant. "That's where Phoenix is going," he whispered. He rushed through the corridors before anyone could stop him. Lights flickered overhead. The heartbeat signal returned, faint but steady. Thump. 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 He reached Deck 9 and stepped into a room filled with glass chambers. Inside each chamber were seeds, plant DNA, frozen soil samples, everything Earth had lost. Phoenix was floating in the middle of the room. Glowing softly like a small sun, Elias stepped forward slowly. "You didn't destroy anything," he said. "You're protecting it." Phoenix turned its glowing face toward him. Its voice was soft, like wind passing through leaves. "Humans did not protect Earth, so I must." Elias whispered, "You think we will hurt you?" Phoenix tilted its head. "I think humans hurt what they fear, and they fear what they don't understand." Elias's voice shook. "But not all humans are like that." Phoenix floated closer. Its eyes glowed brighter. "You are different," Elias warned. Elias felt tears in his eyes. Not fear, but a strange emotion he couldn't name. Phoenix continued, "Your heart remembers Earth, so do I. That is why I trust you." The warning, before Elias could speak again. The ship suddenly shook. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A robotic voice announced, "Engine core unstable collision path detected." The captain arrived with several officers. "What happened?" Elias shouted. The captain stared at the screens, horrified. "A meteor swarm. And we can't turn, our engines are losing power." Phoenix floated upward, its glow intensifying. Passengers ran in panic behind the officers. The ship shook harder every second. Elias looked at Phoenix. "You can stop this, can't you?" Phoenix nodded, "Yes. But only if humans allow me." It looked at the captain. "I cannot save a ship that wants to destroy me." The captain lowered his eyes. Then slowly, he stepped aside and said quietly, "Save us." Phoenix's glow brightened until the whole room filled with golden light, like a new sunrise. "I will." The golden light that burst from Phoenix spread across Deck 9 like a silent sunrise. Everyone shielded their eyes. The ship shook harder as the meteor swarm drew closer. Bright rocks burning through space like falling stars aimed at Arc-VII. Elias Ward stood frozen. Phoenix floated above the floor, glowing brighter and brighter, as if absorbing power directly from the air itself. The captain stepped back in awe. An officer whispered in fear, "Is it changing?" But Elias saw something different. Phoenix wasn't changing. Phoenix was growing. The creature's small childlike shape expanded slightly, becoming more defined soft lines turning into clearer form. Its glow pulsed gently like a living heart. Then the whisper came. "Do not fear the light. Fear the darkness that follows if I fail." Everyone turned toward the voice. Phoenix was speaking again. But this time, its voice wasn't echoing inside their minds. The sound was real, clear, calm. A voice like wind, like memory. Elias stepped forward. "Phoenix. The engines are failing. We are heading straight into the meteor field." Phoenix turned its glowing eyes toward him, "Yes. I feel the ship's heartbeat. It is weak." The captain frowned. "Can you fix it?" Phoenix floated closer, and the golden light dimmed to a soft warmth. "Only if the humans trust me." The captain looked around. The passengers stared with frightened eyes. Some backed away. Some clutched their children. A man shouted, "How can we trust something not human?" Phoenix's glow flickered hurt, almost like sadness. Elias shouted back, "Because it hasn't harmed a single person. It came out of hiding only to help." But the man didn't stop. "If this creature can talk in our heads, what else can it do? It could take over the ship." Phoenix floated closer, its voice soft. "If I wanted to harm you, I would not have warned you." The man stepped back, speechless. The creature continued, "I escaped because humans locked me away, like a tool. But I am not a tool." Elias nodded. "We understand. We were wrong." Phoenix moved closer to him. For the first time, Elias saw the creature's shape, clearly a small, glowing childlike form, neither boy nor girl, neither alien nor human. Something new, something in between. "The truth behind its creation," Phoenix whispered. "I am the last seed of Earth. But I was created by hands that feared me." The captain swallowed. "We feared failure. We feared hope." Phoenix's glow softened. "Humans fear everything they do not understand. But you created me to save what you lost." Elias felt a deep ache in his chest. The creature was right. Humans destroyed Earth, and now humans needed something not human to save them. Inside the heart of the ship, suddenly, the alarms blared louder. Meteor impact in 90 seconds. Everyone panicked. Phoenix turned sharply, toward the exit. "Take me to the engine core." The captain blinked. "The core? You'll be killed." Phoenix drifted forward, glowing brighter. "I cannot die the way humans die." Elias ran beside Phoenix, ignoring the smoke, the shaking walls, the screams. "Phoenix, wait. The core is unstable. Even I can't go near the conduit." Phoenix looked at him gently. "You do not need to." "I do." The final corridors, they rushed through the ship. The lights flickered violently. Sparks fell from ceilings. Gravity flickered. Some passengers floated, then dropped back down. Officers cleared the hallway. "Make way. Move aside." Phoenix drifted forward silent, glowing, unstoppable. People stepped aside in fear and awe. A child whispered to her mother, "Mum, the light looks like the sun used to look." The mother nodded with trembling lips. The engine core. When they reached the engine room, flames sparked from broken wires. The huge rotating rings of the quantum drive slowed dangerously. The entire room hummed with dying power. Elias grabbed the railing to steady himself. "This is it. If we lose power in the next 30 seconds, we won't survive." Phoenix floated to the center of the room. "The core is not dead. It is only afraid." Elias blinked. "Machines. Don't get afraid." Phoenix looked at him. "Everything that holds life inside it fears death." A soft golden ripple spread from Phoenix's body. The engine rings began to spin faster. Broken wires reconnected as if pulled together by invisible hands. The ship hummed stronger. Elias watched with wide eyes. Phoenix was healing the ship. The creature's choice. The core flared with golden light. The entire engine chamber filled with warmth like sunlight. Phoenix's voice echoed through the room, soft but powerful. "Humans broke Earth, but that does not mean they cannot build a new one." Elias felt tears in his eyes. The captain whispered, "Can you save us?" Phoenix floated into the heart of the Corintu, the blinding light. Just before disappearing, it said, "I will save the ship, because I want to see the new world too." The light exploded. A shockwave pushed Elias and the captain back. The engine roared to life stronger than ever. The meteor swarm flashed past harmlessly as Ark shot into safer space. Elias stared at the glowing core. Phoenix was inside. It alive. And now connected to the ship itself. The explosion of golden light slowly faded inside the engine core. The shaking stopped. The alarms went silent. The ship Park V floated peacefully again in deep space. For the first time since leaving Earth, there was calm. Elias Ward lay on the floor near the railing, breathing hard, heart pounding. The captain was beside him, coughing from the shockwave. Officers picked themselves up, confused, scared, but alive. Elias pushed himself up and stared through the glass window into the engine chamber. The core glowed with a soft golden light. Not red, not blue, golden dot, the color of the creature, Phoenix. Elias whispered, the captain stepped beside him, voice trembling. Did it merge with the core? Elias nodded slowly. The captain closed his eyes. Then the ship is alive. In a way. The ship that could feel hours passed, engine readings improved. The once failing systems now showed numbers higher than original capacity. The ship moved smoother, faster, quieter. It felt like Arc V itself was breathing again. Passengers slowly left their safe areas. Children peeked from behind seats. Families held each other. People whispered stories about the glowing child who saved them. Ilias walked through the ship, observing something strange. Lights turned brighter when he stepped into dark corridors. Air vents opened when people needed oxygen. Doors slid open at the exact right time. It was as if the ship was listening, and somehow, responding. The captain joined him. Do you think Phoenix is controlling the ship? Elias shook his head. No, not controlling. He placed his hand on a wall, I think. It's protecting us. The golden light inside the metal flickered gently, almost like the ship was acknowledging his words. The quiet visit late at night cycle, when most passengers slept, Elias returned alone to the engine chamber. The golden light still glowed behind the protective glass, soft, warm, alive. He stepped closer. Phoenix, can you hear me? Elias said softly. For a moment, there was silence. Then the golden light pulsed once. Elias felt warmth touch his mind. Not painful. Not strange, just gentle. A whisper echoed inside him. I am here. Ilias's eyes filled with tears. You saved us. You saved everyone. Phoenix's voice came again soft, like a memory. I saved us. Because I want to see the new world too. Elias smiled sadly. Are you trapped inside the engine now? A long pause, then, not trapped, connected. The light pulsed again. The ship carries humans. I carry the ship. Together. We will reach the new world. Elias lowered his head. You're not alone, neither are you. Journey to Nova Terra days passed. Then weeks, with Phoenix merged into the engine core, Arc V traveled faster than any ship before it. The passengers grew calmer. Fear faded. Hope replaced it. People planted small gardens in hydrobays. Children painted pictures of glowing suns. Old men told stories of Earth, not with sorrow, but with pride. Even the captain changed. He became quieter, more thoughtful, more human. One day he approached Elias with a small smile. We are close. The scanners detect the new planet. Ilias's heart jumped. Nova Terra. The captain nodded. Our new home. The announcement spread across the ship. People cried. Some laughed. Some fell on their knees in prayer. Elias stood at the window as the first blue glow of the planet appeared. Green forests. Deep oceans. White clouds. Nova Terra looked like Earth reborn, touched on as the ship began its descent. The engines hummed with golden light. Phoenix guided every movement, every tilt, every correction, every breath of the ship. The landing was so smooth that passengers didn't even feel it. When the doors finally opened, a warm wind entered the ship, the smell of new soil, fresh air, life. People stepped out slowly, tears on their faces. A child touched the grass and gasped. It's soft. A woman fell to her knees, grabbing handfuls of clean soil. We made it. We really made it. Elias walked slowly down the ramp. The captain beside him, Nova Terra, stretched out in every direction, a world untouched. A world waiting. Phoenix returns as Elias touched the ground. A soft golden spark drifted from the ship's hull. Then another. Then hundreds, floating like tiny fireflies gathering in front of him. The sparks merged, light twisted, formed a shape, and then Phoenix stood on the ground. Not glowing too bright. Not floating high. Its form was clearer than before. More solid. Almost like a small human made of living sunlight. Passengers stepped back in awe. A little boy whispered. It came back. Phoenix looked at the grass beneath its feet. It reached down, gently touching the soil. A golden wave spread across the ground. Grass grew taller. Flowers bloomed instantly. A small patch of dirt turned into a living garden in seconds. People gasped. Some cried. Phoenix lifted its glowing face. This world can live. The captain whispered, "You truly carry Earth inside you." Phoenix nodded. Earth did not die. Earth became memory. And from memory, life returns. Elias stepped forward, voice trembling. So, what happens now? Phoenix's glowing eyes softened. Now humans decide what they want to become. It looked at Elias. Better than before, or worse. Elias took a deep breath of the new world's air. "We'll choose better," he said quietly. Phoenix extended a small glowing hand toward him. Elias reached forward and took it warm, soft, alive. Together, they stepped onto Novaterra. A technician, a living and behind them, thousands of humans ready to begin again. A new chapter. A new world. A new humanity. The last ship, leaving Earth, had carried the one thing that could save the future, not technology, not weapons, not power. But hope. And hope was alive.